Try not to break the chain. These 4 basic words helped Jerry Seinfeld become one of the world's best humorists. Seinfeld's mantra pushed him to compose new jokes each and every day. Utilizing a divider schedule, he drew a X during each time on which he composed. When the X's began framing a chain, his inspiration developed. You'll like seeing that chain, particularly when you get half a month added to your repertoire. Your lone activity next is to not break the chain, Seinfeld told a youthful comic, who had requested achievement tips. Seinfeld's strategy, which at last prompted him handling a hit network show, is an ideal case of how achievement doesn't generally start with unprecedented inspiration. Like a snowball gathering speed, now and then the inspiration works after you begin. Essentially, I'm not an exceptionally energetic individual. I'm not an ambitious person, I don't especially adore the exercise center, and I don't peruse 2 new books every week. Yet by one way or another I, despite everything, figured out how to dispatch Jotform, and gradually grow a system of over 4.2 million clients in the course of the most recent 12 years. Furthermore, I crush in and exercise numerous mornings, as well. Completing stuff doesn't generally rely upon inspiration. We can achieve incredible things, in any event, when we simply don't feel like it. Delaying can be an endless loop. The more we abstain from something, the higher our uneasiness, thus we put it off further. To stop the delaying cycle, we have to initially distinguish the motivation behind why we're keeping away from an assignment. For the most part, it's about anticipation or advancement. An anticipation center is the point at which we abstain from planning something for forestall a misfortune. For instance, you need to make an introduction for work, however are apprehensive it won't be locks in. Stressed over humiliating yourself before partners, you delay beginning on the introduction. An advancement center is the point at which we consider it to be as an approach to wind up happier than we are currently, like preparing for a long-distance race, yet can't bring the inspiration to begin. For instance, the running club you joined meets at 6 a.m., however the rest button triumphs without fail. Feelings assume a key job both in advancement and avoidance center. It's the feeling-like part that is the trickiest, yet as Melissa Dahl partook in a 2016 article for The Cut. You don't need to want to complete something so as to really complete it. This is such a basic point. It's so straightforward, yet regularly so hard to apply. Thus, in the event that you think something is exhausting or horrendous, you have to remove your emotions from the condition and choose ahead of time precisely when and where you'll do it. State each day at 7 a.m., you're at the rec center. No feelings. There's no lying in bed, gazing at the roof and gauging the upsides and downsides of activity. Spare yourself the choice exhaustion and focus on your already decided calendar. Act presently, feel inspired later. Where I'd had gigantic achievement, I had limited my fixation to a certain something, and where my prosperity fluctuated, my center had too. Success is consecutive, not concurrent. Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, authors of The One Thing. Like my morning pages schedule, inspiration can be the after effect of an activity, not the reason for it. When we figure out how to begin, even in the littlest of ways, energy will prop us up. Supported force toward a particular objective makes a compound impact. Which is, generally, the idea that steady, gradual changes can bring about key changes after some time. Between the ages of 32 and 44, Warren Buffett developed his total assets by 1,257%. However, it's the following 12 years that are genuinely dumbfounding. From 44 to 56, he developed his total assets by 7,268%. Gradually, he fired structure up a chain of ventures and never halted. Try not to break the chain. The intensity of force can be clarified with the thought called the physics of productivity, which is Newton's first law applied to propensity development. Items moving will in general remain moving. When an errand has started, it's simpler to keep pushing it ahead. On the off chance that we start with a little activity, putting on our running shoes or completing the introduction presentation, odds are we'll see it simpler to proceed. This is the place schedules prove to be useful, to dispose of the dynamic procedure and choose when you'll accomplish something, yet additionally the specific advances. Let's assume you need to distribute another blog entry, however can't marshal the inspiration to begin. Focus on finishing only one section every day until it's finished. Furthermore, to make it one stride further, make a custom to go with the movement. Pour a new mug of espresso, practice 2 or 3 minutes of careful breathing and afterward begin. Probably the best individuals have confidence in ceremonies. Take world well-known creator and inspirational orator Tony Robbins. Each morning, Robbins primes his psyche before he begins his day. In only 10 minutes, he performs 3 arrangements of 30 Kapalbhati pranayama breaths, offers thanks and petitions God for help, direction, and quality for the duration of the day. At that point, mind prepared, he begins his day. Whatever you pick, your custom will diminish the opportunity that you'll avoid the action. Truth be told, some of the time the ceremonial causes us anticipate it, like slipping on a couple of agreeable shoes the second we return home. Fuel the fire. Inspiration isn't the fire that turns over your motor. Jeff Hayden, writer of The Motivation Myth, composes that it's the fire that starts consuming after you physically, agonizingly, urge it into reality, and it benefits from the fulfillment of seeing yourself make improvement. Commonly, inspiration comes after we begin moving in the direction of an objective. The stunt lies in getting ourselves to venture out. In the event that we beat ourselves up for not having the inspiration to begin an undertaking, at that point we're not making any progress. Be that as it may, by making sense of what's halting us, and afterward making calendars and ceremonies, progress will come whether we feel like it. What's more, thusly, the fire develops. So choose what you need to achieve, focus on a daily schedule and recollect Seinfeld's recommendation, don't break the chain. Thank you for Know to How.